Here's the unemployment choo-choo. It's been an interesting week. Lots of stuff going on. You know, lots of sad things. We have a lot of political things going on, but you know, it's been a week where I find it hard to persevere myself. I don't know how you're feeling here on this edition of the Chew.
Yeah, you know what? It's just one of those weeks, and it's so funny that we're both feeling it. We're both in unison with the way we feel. It could be, you know, it's like we're having our menopause of the week or something.
Yes.
But it's one of those, you know, it's one of those weird things where we're both going through like this emotional thing where we just want to like sit Indian style in the dark.
And we want to like listen to emo music. Like I wouldn't mind if like I drew back the curtains and I put on like Taking Back Sunday or like what's like another emo-y band like
I was just gonna get some candles. They have the light up ones that you can get at the dollar store. Just put like a little battery in and they turn on. Put some of that, get in the dark, listen to Enya. You know?
Oh, who can tell? Yeah, that's perfect. Right. Yeah, little mascara. Do we do mascara and stencil around the eye, or we just kind of do the stencil?
No, I'll cry and it'll get into my peepers, and I don't want that to happen. You know,
right? Got to keep those peepers clear. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think what started it is, I think we found the news that somebody who I think we admire for different reasons, and we're going to explain them, but has passed this week. And Jeff, this gentleman wasn't as old as you would think. I mean, he was in his late 70s, something like that.
Yeah, late 70s. He was kind of confined to a wheelchair.
Yep.
So, but he didn't let that stop him. He was still himself, still the king of smut.
I'll tell you what, for somebody confined to a wheelchair, he ran a marathon of a life.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, Larry Flint, by the way, for those of you who are unaware of who we're talking about. He passed away, and, you said to me something that, you didn't think that he was really on my radar, and he really wasn't. I mean, you're older than me, so I think, when this kind of stuff was going on with him and the Hustler magazine, I think you were more involved. I mean, aside from the fact that you yourself were, in fact, a smut peddler in your early years.
Well, way before those days that I was giving you your jollies. And you were renting them from me, DVDs and such, when I worked at Risque Video.
Mm-hmm.
I was a young, impressionable, horny, pubescent boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had some friends that were maybe a little more, couple chunky friends.
A little more horny? Okay.
And we would roll up to the local, newsstand where you knew that at 15 you could get smokes too. He'd sell them to you, one of those joints.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you would make a stop, and right there at the top left in the back was the raunchy Hustler magazine.
See,
right?
and you know what? And this is the one thing. If you can harken back to the days of, buying cigarettes and smut magazines from the local newsery or the apothecary, you know how I knew that Hustler, like I would always take a peep at a Playboy. I liked it. It was classy. But you always knew that Hustler was a little bit more X-rated because do you remember Hustler came in basically a little package and it was black, like the front plastic was black. So you couldn't open it and take a peep. You either had to commit to the buy, whereas with Playboy you could take a peep through, or you could, as a young boy, go through it, rip out a page. So like I knew that Hustler was a no-no from day one. Like I knew it.
Well, that's because, and he was quoted in saying this, that he really has a fascination with the crotch. Okay.
Okay, that's kind of been his lifelong drive.
The crotch. So when you got those, you knew that when you purchased those, you were taking your sexuality to a different level. Like when you bought it, like back in the day, I can just remember some of the big ones, like when Jenny McCarthy was on them, or whoever else,
right.
Pamela Anderson ran the show, right? Those kind of deals. That was the glitz and the glam. Well, you kind of knew what you were getting.
I like that. It was a sensual picture. You were a little nude. You covered up. Maybe you saw a little bush. But you never. I felt like with Larry Flint, he went all in. Like I felt like a Hustler was like a colonoscopy, whereas like the Playboy was just like a little nudie pic behind the curtain. I think there was a difference.
Yeah, I mean, see, Hustler, you would really, really get in there, and I'll tell you, and it wasn't just with women, with the guys, you would see it all too. I think at that time, some of the big stars were Rocco Siffredi and Peter North, and when they would be in a lot of those, they would get right in, and you would see it all.
But see, now that's my question. You know, I think with me, you know, I think as a boy, you start out, you go, oh, there's a nude picture. Oh, there's this. I think like with him, he was just like, let's just jump right in. There was nothing, you know, Playboy had a story. You had some ads, you know, not that, you know, Hustler didn't have ads, but like you opened it and on page one, I mean, there was barebacking. I mean, you were right there. There was no, I mean, you started at the climax. You know, there was no leading you through.
Like the original creator of POV, right?
So, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, point of view for people who don't understand that reference. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would get right in there to the crevices to all the crotch. That's what we're all aiming for, right?
But why? Well, wait a minute, though. But don't you feel that maybe that's too much? Like, even when you're doing the deed, I don't find myself staring at the crotch or you know, into certain places. I give a nice, like, whole body look over kind of a thing. Like, it's more like it's the entirety of the picture as opposed to, you know, the little blurb on the bottom. And I think he focused on the blurb on the bottom.
You know why? Are you a lover in the bed? I mean, do you really? I'm a
sensual Sam. I mean, and you know, I know that you know that. I know that you know that of the ladies that for some weird reason you felt the need to ask about our exploits have all said one thing. You know, look, you know, the Div isn't perfect. The Div doesn't have Channing Tatum's pecs, but the Div is a sensual man. And I think that sensuality is lost with the Hustler.
So the Div gets Jenna Jameson in the bed. Right?
Yes.
And she's been through it all. You are going to give her the glitz and glam. When she's ready for it all, you're not going to do that. You're going to love Jenna Jameson.
No. If the lady wants it all, if she wants it to be, let's say, double X rated as opposed to single X rated, or even, you know, X rated as opposed to rated R, I will bequeath upon those requests. But it really starts out with, it's a storybook. I look at every lover like a storybook. Page 1 is the kiss. And, you know, as you get down, page 15 might be kissing the neck. Going down, you know, just going down ever so. Just, you know, cuddling. And by the time we get to where Larry Flint, you know, wants us to be on page 1, I'm already like, you know, I'm at the last chapter of the book. You know, we have explored the body. We have tried different things, and we are really deep. And it's a process. You don't just go right for it. I mean, it's I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it.
Maybe once in a while, some of these ladies want themselves a Lexington Steele. You know, he was a guy that would come in doing the movies, and he'd be in there, and he's not coming in to make love to you. He's coming in to let you know that he was there and he's marking his territory.
But see, but let me ask you, is that, yes, maybe, you know, you can't say no lady wants that, but if you ask by and large, I would say that if you asked 100 ladies, I would say 99 ladies would want the storybook loving. You know, now that doesn't mean that you know, during that storybook, they're not bad little ladies. You know, but I just can't. You can't roll into Larry Claxton Flint's page 1 idea of lovemaking, and even I don't know.
Well, that's because on page 1 you flip it and there's Belladonna, the anal queen,
right?
You know, just there and ready to go.
She's and there's There's nothing left to the imagination, Jeff. You know,
you're getting it, okay? So well, you want the picture of the beauty, and then you want to imagine her walking in, and you, for some reason, she's coming into your one-bedroom apartment, and, you know, and you're romancing her. That's what you want her to do. I
want to be Tom Hanks in You've Got Mail. I want to be Billy Crystal in When Harry Met Sally. You know, I want to be Michael Douglas in Romancing the Stone. You know, I want to be, you know, what's his name? He's really old, the really old guy in Gran Torino. He's super famous. Gosh, he's like the most famous director, actor of all time. Old guy. Why am I drawing a blank on him, Jeff? He was in Gran Torino. Oh, my goodness. Come on, Gran Torino. Not Glenn Close. That's a woman.
Glenn Close is a woman.
Right.
Even though you probably like to get a little her in there, huh?
Well, maybe feel attraction, Glenn Close. But, Meryl Streep and her 5-day love escapade with, I'm going to, you know what? I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to remember it. He was in Gran Torino.
Clint Eastwood.
Thank you. I want to be Clint Eastwood in the, bridges of Madison County. I want to blow through and have a 5-day love affair. And I want when that lady dies to write about the 5 days we shared together. And I think Larry Flint is part of the reason that there's such a sex-crazed culture in this country. Whatever happened to love? And you know what? Say what you will, but ladies always, enjoyed my company because I brought them back to a time where lovemaking was king.
Yeah, but these people have become stars because of this, Well, Brittany Sky and all these kind of different, these, and literally these are off the top of my head from working at the store.
Well, I was going to say, what's crazy? I have not heard of one of these people, and you are just ripping them off. Who was that other guy? Rick what?
Well, I remember the big ones were, the big ones were Rocco Siffredi.
Okay, Rocco Siffredi.
Peter North, Lexington Steele, and oh God, who else? Byron Long. Okay. I remember because I used to write, all the descriptions of stuff.
But do you think that maybe desensitized you to what it really means to make love? Because I feel like, because I was a little bit younger than you, I wasn't exposed to some of the things that you were, and I think it's made me a better lover for it. I do.
Well, I think a lot of it has desensitized me working there and being a part of that because nothing shocks me, to this point. You don't really realize what anybody's into until like 2:30 in the afternoon when somebody comes in, some guy just wanders in off the street and has a ridiculous request, like he's there on his lunch hour. And it's not the people that you would think. It's not some crotchety old guy with a beard off the street. It's these professionals that'll come in a suit on their lunch hour. So
are you saying like lawyers and doctors and whatnot?
Yes. Yep, that'll come in and buy a toy that's the size of a telephone pole. And they give you the old, this is a gag gift. And we know it's not a gag gift. When
you know 100% that it's for them.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you real quick, what percentage of people that came in and said it was a gag gift, really was it a gag gift, do you think? Like, was it 1%, 10%? 5%
maybe.
Really?
5% and you could tell.
And
no guy sitting there at 55 years old. Who are you buying gag gifts for? Come on, bozo. Who are you buying
wait a minute. Maybe they have a young friend at work that's getting married. Maybe.
No. You see when the young kids come in, that it's a bachelor party for their boy, or they're doing something for their buddies.
So you're being age prejudiced then.
I know 110% because the old people, as the older they get, the bigger things they want to put into their orifices.
Oh, so that you think the older they get, the more experimental they get.
Yes, and they seem to want to insert a lot of things as they get older.
But listen to this conversation. See, not once have you talked about the sensuous art of lovemaking, and that is because of Larry Flint. And this is why I've absolutely disliked this man. Again, he was a big First Amendment guy. I'm all about, all that crap. But at the end of the day, if you are responsible for desensitizing an entire generation of the art of lovemaking, I think that's why there are 50% divorces. I think that's why ladies are so dissatisfied. We can all go back to, size and body and shape and all that, but at the end of the day, it's about the sensuality, and it's been lost, and I hold him directly accountable for that.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to the crotch. At the end of the day. And he was right all along because we all head towards the crotch at the end. At the end, we all congregate when we come together.
So just cut out the middleman, listen to the guy in the wheelchair.
Take off the KN95 mask and dive face into the crotch.
Face into the crotch.
That's what it's all about. Yes.
All right, yes. What a legacy. Here's the unemployment choo-choo. Jeff, I think this happens a lot here on the Unemployment Choo Choo. We start out and we were talking about Larry Flint, and we kind of went off on a tangent. And